Yeah. Baby, what up?
Beautiful people of planet Earth, it's your favorite part of the day. Get ready for quality time with your one and only, the Weird Pal. Hello and welcome to the show. It's me, Carole.
And me, Liz.
And me, Liz, is joining us to talk about stuff.
Thanks for having me to talk about stuff.
What are we talking about today? Rubbers.
Condoms, I was
all
going to
that
say,
bullshit.
which totally didn't rhyme.
No, it was perfect. So the reason that this came up again, because we've had our little session sort of talking about men and their behavior with regards to condoms and, I don't know, what I like to think of as saving my life, saving my health.
Too.
What's that?
There's two, we would think.
Yeah. So you had an incident recently with one of your, quote, friends, quote. Do you want to start us off on just sort of what went down, and then we can just kind of, give our own feedback about it.
It'd be great if I knew what the cue was. Are we talking about...
maybe the Jamaican, and the rubber condom situation, and just like sort of take everybody back before sort of the first time that he sort of mentioned the whole raw thing, which is really hot right now.
I mean, they always manage to find some way to slip in how much they'd not like to use any form of protection casually. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we've all had one of those moments, right? Right, ladies, men, you've done it.
So you're saying that he's somehow in the middle of your previous dates, he dropped how lovely it would be to have naked sex.
Right, and of course, he's clean. Of course, right? Should be this like weird, obvious. All right, yeah.
Right.
What's the problem?
Right. We should also mention he's like a supermodel. He's like a super fitness model who's incredibly drool worthy.
That is true, but I don't know. Nonetheless,
I can't remember why I was mentioning that.
Well, it's true. It's facts.
Okay.
Still.
The reason. Sorry, I wanted to go into the fact that, to your previous point, he's a very attractive man, a very successful man. You've never had an in-depth discussion about your monogamy or any sort of thing like that. You are lovers, so to speak. I don't know what do the kids call it. You're Netflix and chilling without the Netflix? What is it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what this is called, but I'm pretty sure we were both clear and have been for a while that, it's just a hookup? Is that what we call it, or is that already outdated?
Maybe, but it's still definitely more current than my version. Okay, so he's your hookup. One of your hookups. So then you get a nice little text, if I remember correctly.
Oh, goodness, right. So
that's what spurned this whole thing.
The texts are normally nice, little texts, and often sometimes a picture or video of sorts.
Oh,
but
really?
This day it was a screenshot.
Okay.
And just a quick little note based on our last conversation, and got a test. Just a screenshot.
Oh, STD test, huh?
That's right. Yeah, like that was... Yeah, so apparently, I don't know, I guess we're getting monogamous, or I don't know, I'm using any other type of birth control. Maybe we're having babies. It was escalating quickly from a hookup. That is all I know when this comes in.
Oh, my goodness.
I wasn't sure what I was supposed to say. I think I might have gone with emojis of some kind, but I honestly don't remember.
What do you say to that? I mean,
That is a good question. What do you say? If we have any comments on that?
Oh, yeah, please. If somebody has a brilliant idea, bring us the feedback, because we're stumped. I know for me, when something awkward comes up, I feel like I go to extremes. I either kind of avoid the subject altogether because I'm frozen, or I say way too much and make it actually more awkward than it ever was, which seemed impossible when I started. And then somehow, sometimes it gets turned on me because, I'm the one who was trying to, kind of overanalyze it or what have you. But what do you say to this?
I don't know the answer. I'm just stunned by it all. I'm not sure what you're supposed to take away from any of this. And apparently I think the guys think we just are going to say, alrighty, come on over and let's do it raw. I don't know if that's any woman's reaction has ever been that, but apparently some have. Or why would this come up?
It reminds me of the COVID test, right? Where it's like, oh, make sure you have a COVID test in 3 days. You have no idea how many people I made out with in 3 days, but I'm really glad that you feel so happy that I have a test from 3 days ago that proves nothing.
I mean, it's quite an interesting phenomenon. Apparently I'm supposed to, I don't know what we're supposed to think. It's great. I'd love to hear other thoughts on this. I don't know.
Okay, so I want to bring up one of my condom things. You might remember we were in Mexico and I was Tindering some dude in LA. He, reached out. So he was real cute. We were talking back and forth, and he's like, "Hey, do you have a recent STD test?" And I'm like, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I do." It was like 3 months or something like that. I think I mentioned it was about 3 months old, and then just for the fuck of it, I don't even know why I went with it, but I was like, fuck it. I took the screenshot. It was easy enough to get to, right? So I was like, here's your STD test from 3 months ago. He's like, hey, this is from 3 months ago. I'm like, yeah, I know. Remember I mentioned, and so then he shoots off his STD test to me. I'm in Mexico. We don't even have a first date planned.
Well, I'm wondering, where does he think this conversation is going? Are we to assume neither of you have been with anyone recently, and now all of a sudden you're not going to be with anyone else, and you should just meet for the first time and have sex without any sort of protection? What is the logic here? I'm so curious.
It's a good question. I'm wondering it too. So is that me promising that I'm going to have sexual intercourse with you on the first date? Obviously not. I mean, obviously I want to. Obviously I'm hoping you're going to mind your P's and Q's and be sexy enough for me to want to jump in bed with you, but...
I mean, I'm grateful for the adult conversation, right? We're talking about safe sex and STD tests. It seems so, all right, mature, responsible,
yes.
But then the ludicrousness of the sending them in a screenshot and assuming no one's doing anything else and all is going to be good, and no other consequences to unprotected sex aside from STDs. Nobody's apparently worried about babies.
Nobody cares about babies or STDs anymore, because apparently the pull-out method, which is, of course, the source of so many alive people today, please don't pull away from the microphone when you laugh gently at my joke.
I laughed so loudly earlier I got self-conscious. So I thought I was going to explode more. I was trying to control myself.
We all heard
learning
it.
the volume of
we
the mic
forgave
here.
you.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll fix it in post. Okay, so I ended up resurrecting the conversation with the dude. I had to ask, right? So... are you wanting monogamy with me? Is that what's happening here? Is that,
Great question.
It's not the most romantic way to tell me you want me and only me, even though you've never met me.
How did he reply? I think that's so great that you asked. I mean, I'm guessing that wasn't their intention in sending the screenshot.
What?
Hey, I don't want to be with anyone else.
Oh.
And I want to have your babies.
Right. Yes. Let's have a family.
First date, family. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, people do dive right in these days, but I'm gonna guess that's not it.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And just to that previous point, I like the idea of love at first sight. I like the idea of starting a family on day one. I'm up for it. I'm willing. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm gonna know it when I see it. The one or one of the ones.
Well, I'm pretty sure that the one doesn't dive in on first date with STD screenshots and all the assumptions that come with that.
No, I really don't see my one asking for an STD test on the first convo. But like you said, it was kind of cool at first. It was like, ooh, I like your irresponsible attitude. This dude I was with recently, he was like tripping on the condom. It was like the opposite thing. We're doing it. And he was packing, so his condom was snug. There was no issue there. It was sucked on. You know how sometimes it's just like, and you're like, I'm not worried about this condom. Every now and again, he was doing some kind of shit down there, and he's like, oh, I'm just checking. I was like, oh, good. That made me feel good. So then he did it again, and I'm like, what's that motherfucker doing? Is he taking it off? You know what I mean? And now I'm reaching down and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good.
You know what I really like about that? That's a guy right there. Some responsibility for the condom.
I know, but as I was implying, it was also a little extra weird. The thing was sucked on, and he was coming from behind. Wasn't exactly. He could have just looked down and saw it, right?
That's
and
fair.
he was really just inspecting the thing. Speaking of coming from behind, or just like having a good visual of the condom, right? Despite maybe low light. You may or may not remember the story. There was like this really weird, but all I can keep remembering is his really sweaty body, which I really liked. And that visual is really great, but with the dreads and the whole thing. But it was such a disappointment. He made me feel like I was risking my life. He was kind of weird when I asked for the condom. And then at some point, when it was like basically kind of like deluxe missionary, I reached down and realized the condom's gone. And it's like off to the side.
What?
He's like, oh, where's the condom? Oh my goodness, where did it go? I'm like,
The face I'm getting, folks. Serious face.
are you fucking serious right now? Here's what pisses me off is that I went for the second round. I think he did it twice and then finally figured it out. And I'm like, I don't know. That's my personal shame. I'm like, why? I feel like that guy should have been out on his ear.
See, this is why I'm saying we have to pause for a moment to give props to the other dude who, although was oddly obsessively checking it, which isn't the sexiest thing in the world, we got to reward some good behavior here because I think it's quite attractive. A man can be responsible for the goddamn condom. They're the one, as you're pointing out, can see the damn thing. They're the one that knows what's going on with it. It's on their body. Can we not have some responsibility? So I gotta, first dude, you could do it a little smoother, right? Be a little less weird about checking it so much, but props to that guy. Not in the mood for having condoms lost next over there.
Oh God! Or inside of me.
Exactly.
Oh, or
Yeah, no.
or having somebody. We won't say who this happened to. Or had somebody just go ahead and like wash off their dick real quick before retrieving the condom inside of someone.
I mean, what the hell? That's not right.
You knew the fucking condom is lost, dude. Find it. Then you handle your own little slimy shit.
Seriously, again, responsibility, folks. Like, look, if I could see it, I'd keep my eye on it. But you've got the view. It's it's your responsibility. Keep an eye. Very sexy, by the way.
It is really hot when you know it's getting close to that point and you hear that crackle and you realize that a man has prepared and he's smooth and he's ready. That is a fucking
nice.
turn on, right?
So nice.
And it's like crackle. It's like, what? I didn't see you get that condom. This is not 10th grade where you're hiding the condom. This is, oh, hey.
Preparation is very sexy. Yeah.
Just tell everybody what you learned. We won't say how you learned it, but the brand that you like. You can go ahead and plug it. Maybe we'll get a sponsorship.
Hey, I do have to say I'm a big fan of the skins. Big
With a
fan.
Z.
Z, I think, or a Y, or some weird spelling, but they're great.
Be careful who you give those skins to because they feel like nothing or they're really thin. So if a guy like most is going to just pre-ejaculate, then the skins are just going to make it that much easier. So maybe don't waste your money on that shit.
I don't know if we're getting a sponsor out of this, but it's honest feedback about them. They're very nice.
They're
yeah.
better with a penis in them.
But again, just to, it's back to some responsibility. So pick the right stuff. Come prepared. It's hot.
I think next time we're going to talk about what you do once you've got the condom on.
Oh, goodness.
Because I have a couple of things that I think are my top most important things.
Seems so relevant to the topic of today, but apparently can fill a whole episode, folks.
Yep, absolutely.
Tips coming soon.
Tips coming soon. Thanks for joining the show. I'm Carole.
I'm Liz.
And we'll talk to you next time.